Hi, everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, leave me a comment, share it out, and tell everyone about me because I talk about all things pop culture here. I mean, film, novels, anime, music sometimes, video games sometimes, all kinds of stuff. And I just want to welcome you here today. For today's topic, I'm going to talk about some reports that are coming out that Black Adam is looking to lose $100 million at the box office. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It might make money, but it's not. Adjusted for inflation and everything, it's not going to be the same as the first Black Panther movie. And this is also comparable to Andor, which the let's be real, the views for that are nowhere near what the trade mags and the Disney shills are saying. Just not. And that's a shame because now Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, I have a ton of issues with. I wrote a review for all three of these on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com. You can check that out. Check those out there. I'm not really here to review the movies, but why did Black Adam and Andor in particular, so a Warner Brothers Discovery property and a Disney property, why did they in particular lose money? Because the both of those are good. Now, Black Adam is not a perfect film, Andor is not a perfect series, but still, they have like some strong entertainment value happening, and so it's kind of mind-boggling why that's the case, right? You're like, why did those two properties in particular lose money? And I honestly think there's a couple of reasons for that. Warner Media or Warner Brothers Discovery, whatever you want to call it, and Disney, they've both just burned too many bridges with the fans. And sadly, Andor, Black Adam, and also Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, they lost because even if Black Panther had been just as good as the first Black Panther, even if Black Adam has been as good as, say, The Dark Knight, if Andor had been as good as The Empire Strikes Back or the first season of The Mandalorian, if you want to stick to TV shows, um, what where did it go wrong? And it's honestly because they have just burned bridges. That's the first reason. They whenever fans were criticizing Star Wars for, say, what they did with Luke Skywalker, and Disney was like, this is a Star Wars property and you're going to like it, dang it. And same with DC Comics. For those of us who didn't like the Snyderverse, despite what everyone says, Warner Brothers, Discovery, HBO Max, they did suck up to Zack Snyder, right? He got his cut of the Justice League, and those of us who were like, hey, we don't want this. And then the announcement of other projects like Batgirl, like Supergirl, where, they don't look anything like their comic book counterparts. And they're like, dang it, you're going to like it because it's DC Comics. And it's like, no, that's not why. We don't like it just because of the brand. That was certainly over in the beginning, right? Obviously, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and even The Rise of Skywalker all made money. Now, they made less and less as time went on, but people were like, oh, this is a Star Wars. We're going to go see it because we're Star Wars fans. Oh, this is a Marvel film. We're going to go see it because it's Marvel. Oh, this is a DC film. We're going to go see because we like DC. Well, those fans just ran out of patience. For every Andor, we got an Obi-Wan, right? For every Andor, we got a Book of Boba Fett, which, by the way, I'm not super critical of Book of Boba Fett. I just thought it was vanilla. They didn't take any risks with it, and so they played it safe and added the Power Rangers into it. I'm kidding. It's those weird cyborg characters. Anyway, neither here nor there. And I just think that they burned it. So when Andor was good, in my opinion, I thought it was a good show. I know some YouTubers out there don't like it, don't care. I thought Andor was a good show. But I understand why others didn't want to watch it, why they didn't want to pay attention to it, because they had been burned by Obi-Wan. And let's be real, prior to The Last Jedi, when Obi-Wan was being kind of talked about, there was, and even Book of Boba Fett, people were excited about it because we had some crumbles of good stuff. The final season of the Clone Wars, for instance, the first season of the Bad Batch, the first season of the Mandalorian. But then when Last Jedi came out, and Disney just came, they had their little lackeys go out and say, you will like it and you will consume it. Well, we just started saying, no, we're not going to consume it. To this day, I haven't watched Hawkeye or She-Hulk Attorney at Law or Miss Marvel. Not interested. Oh, but Jacob, you're not the target audience for that. I should be. I've been collecting comic books since before I was in first grade. I should be the target audience. Now, that is not to say that these properties can't try to invite new fans, but you don't do that by alienating your old ones. It's not working. Catering to these weirdos on Twitter who get so caught up in politics instead of good plot narrative, that it's just not working. And that's why Black Adam, despite being a really fun, enjoyable movie where Pierce Brosnan knocked it out of the park as Dr. Fate, that's why it is failing. And reason number 2 is the myth of the modern audience. And Critical Drinker has a really great video on this. I'm not going to repeat everything he said because his video is really good. Check it out. But there is no modern audience. There are people who will watch Beware the Batman, or they'll play Batman Arkham, the Arkham series, or they'll watch Miss Marvel because it's on Disney Plus, but they don't actually care about the lore, about the canon, about the history. And to cater to people who have these ultra political points of view, it's not just that, I always say this, there's a difference between woke and politically correct. Star Trek The Next Generation was politically correct. Star Trek Discovery is woke. And I've said that in my reviews. I actually gave up on Star Trek. I don't consume any Star Trek products anymore. I'm not excited for anything. And this is a guy who defends the Kelvin timeline, right? I like the Kelvin films. But whatever the case is, I really feel like burning bridges with your fans and then catering to a mythical modern audience. That's what hurt Black Adam and Andor and ultimately Wakanda Forever. And now they can win us back, right? Spider-Man No Way Home ginned up excitement. I mean, just think about it. People were actually excited about Morbius besides Jared Leto, or I should say despite Jared Leto being one of the worst actors to work in Hollywood right now, right? People are actually excited about Morbius, about going to the Sony Spider-Man universe. Well, then that movie ended up being terrible, but it still made a little bit of money, so much so that they even released it into theaters. Not enough. It wasn't like a huge blockbuster or whatever. I'm not saying that, but it made a little bit of money, enough for Sony to re-release it, right? So I say all that to say, they can win us back by actually making good content. Now, I've heard that they're saying that, I think it was comicbook.com, and also I think Yellow Flash reported on this, Yellow Flash 2, that Marvel for Phase 6, they're going to focus on quality over quantity. And that's a good thing because Phase 5 and 6, they're going to focus on quality over quantity. And that's good because this Phase 4 has been a disaster for Marvel. It's been a disaster for Lucasfilms. It's been a disaster for Pixar. It's been a disaster for, ultimately, Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't have to watch the Titans. I like Nightwing. I like the Titans. I'm not going to watch a show where Batman is an abusive predator and he gets checked on his privilege. I'm just not interested in that. No one cares. I don't care. I certainly don't care. And I've been a Batman fan, my whole life. So Marvel, DC, and all your parent companies, listen. Stop burning bridges with your fans. Stop catering to this mythical modern audience that doesn't exist, and start focusing on the quality over the quantity, restoring these universes back to where they were before. So that's my little advice to them. I don't know if they'll listen to me, but on the off chance that they do, I hope that they take what I have to say to heart, because I really do love what these properties used to be. So that's all I have to say about that. Just a reminder, you can get any of my books on Amazon. Definitely check them out. And I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake. If you like that video, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up. And I would be honored today if you would subscribe. No matter what platform you're watching on, please subscribe, hit that follow button, share it out all over the place, and check me out on some of my other socials. I've got links in the description below. Also, check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, and consider supporting this channel on StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. It really helps us smaller creators out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.